Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're going to give you a quick demonstration here, just a little bit of what we deal with at Clark County RMC as the lineman here. Just to run you through a couple things we got here. This first thing here is a transformer. This is what takes the primary voltage of 7200 down to the 240 secondary voltage that goes into most of your houses. The next piece here is what we call an OCR or a breaker, and it's a device for whenever there's a tree limb or squirrel or some kind of fault on the line, it will trip, but then it'll close back in. The next piece is a fuse, which does the same thing as a breaker, except it only trips one time and stays open. And that's really just something we use for some sectionalizing purposes or just general protection. And then down at the end's another smaller transformer that is feeding that security light. The important thing to remember about transformers is the one part of the voltage coming out of that transformer is the same as in your house, which is dangerous. The top side of that transformer is 7200, which is extremely dangerous. What they're wearing is gloves and sleeves, which is what we use to keep ourselves from getting shocked. And this is a little test that we do every time before we use those. It's called an air test. He's just putting air in it, then he's going to listen for any type of leak. Then he would look all over the glove, inside and out, and make sure there's no holes. There's been linemen that's been injured before because they had a pinhole in it that they couldn't even see. So one thing to remember for you guys, anytime, if you've ever seen a car wreck or something that involves power lines, the lines, just because they're either really low to the ground, they're laying on a tree, laying on the car, or even on the ground, doesn't mean they're safe. They're positively never safe until we make them that way. All right, the first demonstration here is if you can imagine people that's using ladders or antenna towers or anything like that, and they get near the power line, sometimes they don't even realize they're very close to it. And we'll give you a little example of what could happen. If you notice the light's on over there, so you know there's power. So if you notice, you can draw a pretty good flame there. That is not a sound we ever want to hear when we're out there actually doing the work. Also, if you notice that the security light went out when he was doing that, you may have ever noticed at your house that the power kind of dims or blinks a few times. That could be trees or anything like that that's causing that. So the temperature of that arc can be 35,000 degrees, which is roughly the temperature of the sun. And the travel speed of electricity rather is about 186,000 miles an hour, which is extremely fast. Now here we'll show how a tree branch, it's never safe either if it's up in the power line because it can conduct electricity. See how it brought the security light on? When he pulls the branch away, it goes out. Okay. Now this here's a balloon, would probably be for a little bit smaller kids, but what we're trying to demonstrate here is how dangerous they can be, especially a mylar balloon that has some metallic to it. If you watch the light, you should be able to make it come on again. There, it's trying to. But as you can tell, it's passing that electricity through that balloon to complete that circuit. That's good. We've been sent out to a lot of different things. We're moving from power lines, anywhere from kites, balloons, even had an arrow one time. Somebody managed to actually shoot right between the wires, which was impressive. They could even make that shot. Now we'll demonstrate, this is a hot dog, which humans and hot dogs have a lot in common in the fact that we have a lot of water content in our body, so we're very conductive. So if you can imagine if we didn't have any protection on and touched that line like that, we could cook ourselves.
You might want a hot dog?
All right, so this next part, I will warn you, is going to make some noise. Shouldn't be too bad. But we're going to demonstrate what happens when a animal, we're going to use a squirrel, but any animal really can get up in the power line when it's downline of a fuse. Coming hot. In reality, that would have been about 5 times that. That was a very small fuse we put in there. This next part, we're going to just show you how this breaker that I told you, it can operate 3 times before it actually locks out. If you'll notice the security light, it will go off and on. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if it'll hold, at least hold through 1 trip, I hope. Yep, she's hot. There it operated once, twice, again. And I don't know if you all noticed, Chris, if you can point out the handle right there. This little handle, did it drop down? This little handle drops down and it lets us know that that breaker did open up. It is not what we use for our own safety because we can't physically see inside that to tell that it's opened up. If we were going to make that safe, we would take off the top side jumpers there to completely isolate that for whenever we need to work on it. So in this scenario, he's removed that fault, which would just say was, some piece of material that the wind blew into it, and now he can re-energize this. You'll notice the light will come back on. So that just shows you, like, if your house, if you've ever noticed the power blink a few times and then it did come back on, that's probably what was going on right there. All right, thank you guys.